spoiler talk for American Horror Story. I gotta work on that. Anyway, welcome guys. We are back, baby. I'm Dan McDaniel's son, your friendly hood neighborhood Spider-Man. I was gonna say Mexican, but I guess Spider-Man works too. Anyway, so I love me some horror. I love me some horror in great aspects, not like torture porn kind of horror where it's just torturing all over the place. You've seen the Green Inferno. It was pretty funny though. But I love American Horror Story. I think it's a great series. Honestly, I think there's it's gotten messier over the years. I think Murder House was great. I think Asylum was great, but overall, I haven't seen all of The Coven. I've seen most of The Coven, but I haven't seen all of The Coven. And of course, I've seen Freak Show and Hotel. I thought Hotel was very messy, but the end was all right. So a lot of people were just wondering, what is season 6 going to be all about? I was hearing rumors, Slender Man, which I absolutely wanted, or something about pilgrims and children and whatever. So this is going to be a spoiler review of the first episode of season 6, chapter 1. And you've been warned. You've been warned. Is Lady Gaga in this first episode? No, she's not. She's basically taking over. I mean, I love Jessica Lange. I wish she'd come back, honestly. She said she was done for good. She said, I'm not coming back. Don't ask me anymore. But I'm interested to see what Lady Gaga's part is going to be in this series, because when we got in the first episode was a telling of a haunting, so to speak. These two couples. Sarah Paulson is playing the reenacted version of Lily Rebet's character, and her husband is course, some dude, and Cuba Gooding Jr. is playing the reenacted version of him, which is kind of funny because Cuba Gooding Jr., every time I see him, he has a big old grin on his face. I can't really take him seriously and stuff. But so I mean, these couple, husband and wife, they lose their baby in the beginning of this episode, which was very sad. There has to be something more to it, especially when we're dealing with kids in this season, because I think all those little Blair Witch looking little straw hat little kid, like little dolls things, I think that has to represent kids, and I think their kid, because in the beginning of this episode, Cuba Gooding Jr. gets knocked out. He gets knocked out. His wife takes him to the hospital. Sarah Paulson, of course. His wife takes him to the hospital. She says, "Let me see him," because he's in a coma, and he'll wake up. And that's exactly what it does. He wakes up, but she loses her kid. So I think that is not a coincidence. Of course, that's going to be a big, huge connection towards probably the end of the season, especially what we're dealing with right now in this episode. What they kind of showed us in here, and what they showed us was that this is not going to be your regular American Horror Story kind of story. It's going to be something that we see and you can see on TV. It's going to be like I do like shows that tell people telling their story, and then there's reenactment stuff. Sometimes those are scary. So I think that's where the angle that we're going for, because sometimes those are very scary. Sometimes some of those reenactments, and they have the people playing these, they're scary, man. There's one particular one where this chick was saying she kept on seeing this old man on her bed, and the reenactment scene, it was this guy, this old man, and they had him with red eyes and stuff. That kind of scared the shit out of me. I was watching that at 12 o'clock at night. So that could be scary, very scary. But what I got from this episode, which they were definitely, I really do appreciate the thought that they want to go the horror route, not necessarily the horror route, but the scary, spooky, bump in the night kind of route. It wasn't scary though. To me, none of this whole episode just was not scary at all. There was a lot of little teeny weeny pre-testing jump scares in this episode, but it never scared me. And I was like, okay, well, I appreciate the fact that you're trying to be spooky here. The tone is set really nicely when the reenactment scenes occur, because, it's just people talking. I really do like Cuba Gooding Jr.'s sister, though. Lee. I think her name's Lee in the episode. Lee is actually, I really like, at first I'm like, damn, man, she's took it down a notch. But she's the interesting character in this episode. She's more interesting than definitely your typical husband and wife bump in the night stuff that occurs to them, because Lee has some problems. She has demons. She's I guess she was an alcoholic. They didn't really show that. They showed her that she was a pill popper for sure, but she's also in a force. She's the law. She's a cop. She was an ex-cop. Her husband leaving her. She doesn't like her sister-in-law. She's upfront with her. She has a somewhat strained relationship. She has a great relationship with her brother, but a strained one because, I mean, the wife, Sarah Paulson, even said, like, you weren't even there when he was in a coma. So that was very interesting. So she's a character that could definitely have an arc throughout this season. She's definitely somebody who is able maybe to, and you see the real Lee, instead of, because Angela Bassett plays the reenactment lead. Oh my god, this could get confusing, isn't it? Angela Bassett plays the reenactment of this person who's telling the story, and this person is Lee. And the real Lee who's telling the story, she's explaining what's going on and everything. She's explaining, like, she lost her kid, like her kid is like her dad gets full custody, this and that. I mean, when that actress broke down and she was crying, I mean, I really felt for her. I really, like, at first I'm like, damn, you a bad bitch, aren't you? Like, you crazy. But then, like, when she started breaking down and you see, like, can we stop for a moment? Like, I actually generally then I started liking Lee. I mean, she's a little bit too forward. She's a little bit, not too understanding. She's definitely get trans dirty. But, I really did I started to soften up with that. That's what I need. That's what I need from that character, is I need that courageous kind of character, but then also break down when you don't think she's going to break down, so I see that character going a long way and maybe being the more interesting character so far through the season. I thought Sarah Paulson, she fine woman, but I she's playing the typical frantic kind of housewife, sees a lot of stuff. I thought the part with the teeth I thought it was hail at first, but it was teeth. I thought that was pretty good, well done. Of course, I don't understand why she would stay in that house. I don't understand why Cuba Gooding Jr., he should have had his sister stay at the house the first time around, or somebody stay at the house, because he knows because he thinks these hillbillies are taking over. I'm assuming you saw the episode. So he thinks these hillbillies are trying to scare them away because Cuba Gooding Jr. bought the house right underneath them, like, for cheap. Like, if that was my wife, it'd be like, listen, baby, we just moved in here. These hillbillies, they're crazy. They're crazy motherfuckers. All right. I've seen enough movies to know your ass, either somebody stays with you or you come with me, even though you keep saying you need some space. I know you need some space, baby. If you need some space, here's some money. Just go for a little bit until I come back. All right. So I thought that whole thing, and then she goes outside into the jacuzzi with wine. She a drunkie. I was like, every damn scene she has a wine. She has a wine glass. So no shit. She's like, people are not believing her, and she's saying, I saw teeth fall from the sky to the ground. I ain't got no money though. So like, that's, some of the decisions these characters make already in this episode is like, they try to explain it, but it's like, you can't explain that shit. She was right from just fucking leaving. That was a smart thing to do towards the end of this episode. She fucking hit. I'm pretty sure that was Kathy Bates. She ran over Kathy Bates. I'm pretty damn sure that was Kathy Bates. So throughout this episode, there's some good things. I love the pulsing of the ground when she's like towards the end of this episode and she's lost in the woods and she's on the ground, and the pulse, like you see the ground shake and move and you see the trees move. I was like, I like that. I love that. That's a great effect, because the whole territory is, alive or something like that. It just felt really it felt like Evil Dead a little bit, but done with a little bit more serious note. We gotta talk about that pig, man, bear, pig, whatever it was. I'm gonna say man, bear, pig. So there's one particular scene where they're underneath. Somebody came into the house. Lee and her sister-in-law are having a fight. They go check out what's going on. The TV's on. It's playing a movie, like a Blair Witch type movie, and this guy captures something that you have to pause it to really kind of get a good look at it. But it looked like a fucking Piglet. It looked like Piglet's head on a dude, and that's pretty much all I could say. That's what it kind of looked like. It looked like Piglet was on the head of some dude. It's just like a little pig head. Well, not little, huge. And a dude. Man, bear, pig. I don't know. Pig, man, bear. I don't know. That was a little. I kind of laughed a little bit. I was like, am I supposed to take that seriously, honestly? So I was just like, that was like the one moment where like the tone did not fit with that little movie that they showed. I was like, okay, so are we going a serious route or not? It was interesting. I think Angela Bassett was great in this episode. I think she's always great. I loved when she was just dogging the shit out of her sister-in-law when she was like, after they got done with their fight, after the fucking the wine glass incident. It reminded me of that Will Smith scene from Suicide Squad. Were you threatening me? You threatened me. Like, it reminded me of that scene for some reason. This episode, there isn't too much going on. There's a lot of just like creepy stuff with a knife. First of all, I would have turned down just the little things, I'm sorry. I would have turned down the damn stove to make sure my fucking steak was not burnt if I'm going to go check something. You make sure that shit down low. You don't leave that shit on because that shit could have just burned my fucking steak. Anyway, the knife was at one point on the table where the carrots were, and then it goes onto the steak. Those little horror moments that we've seen all the time. And I think that's what's the downer about this episode. It's like, I've seen that before. I've seen this before. This character's stupid. Why are you doing that? Okay, you explain it to me, but it's still a stupid idea. I do like how the husband did put a lot of the cameras up and everything, and then they actually capture something. They actually capture some people walking with burnt steaks and everything. Sure, I like that. That's great. There's it's not like waiting through next episode, like, oh, it's not on here anymore, or oh, I didn't see that. That's just my imagination. So there's that. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. What is this season about? I think this is definitely a Blair Witch type situation, witchcraft or whatever. That house was that house in the Coven? No. Was that house murder house? No, that house is connected to. I'm pretty sure I saw that house in previous seasons. Not sure. I'm pretty sure it's the Coven's house. Is that the Coven's house? I'm pretty sure there's a Coven's. Maybe not. Maybe my mind's playing tricks on me. My mind's playing tricks on me. Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, so I really do think this definitely dwells into the witchcraft of everything. Like I said, Blair Witch all over the place here. The kid's story seems to be true because of those little dolls and everything like that. So there's going to be some witchery going on. At the end of this episode, we saw a lot of people with fire, steaks and fire and all that stuff, and we see this guy come in. Sarah Paulson sees like his half head and everything. That was a bad spot to end it. I was like, okay, like what else? That just didn't really do it. That didn't do anything for me. Especially that didn't really capture my interest leading to the next episode. It just like was all right. I felt like that was just a bad spot to end it. I'm assuming. I think there were some nurses in the earlier when she was walking through the house. She's like, "Is anybody there?" I think those were nurses. So I think this house has just a long history, and we're gonna see different kind of eras. Maybe we might see outside. It might be the Pilgrim era, because it looks like there's Pilgrim people, of course. But then we might see like different kind of eras. Like maybe this house was, because it's a big ass house. Maybe this house catered to wounded, hospital. Maybe, I don't know. But overall, it's this season is still shrouded by mystery. I'm very shocked that a lot of spoilers haven't come out. I don't know if that's maybe I just wasn't looking hard enough going into season 6, but then again, I never look at see if there's any spoilers. I like to go in there fresh with American Horror Story at least. So it was interesting. It was an interesting episode. I thought it was directed really well. I thought the scares weren't scary, but overall it just was a big setup to me. It just was maybe like the first half of an episode. Honestly, it felt like if this was a 2-hour premiere, this was the first half, just setting everything up, and then the second half was going to be what really drives the series and what really gets you captivated and wanting to watch more of it. But I felt like this is just the first half. If this was a 2-hour premiere, but this is the first episode, and I think the first episode did okay for just us American Horror fans. But any individual who walks into this is like their first experience American Horror Story, I think will be like, I don't see what the whole hoopla is for American Horror Story, because I don't think this is the most amazing fucking premiere of American Horror Story, not by any accounts. But it was it's interesting for the fact that I don't know what the hell's going on moving forward. I don't know what the actual story is. I've heard little bits and clues about it, especially this being a real somewhat event. Something happened during this timeline. If it's true, I'm not sure yet, but that is what it is. So, what do you guys think? Did you guys love the first episode of American Horror Story Chapter 1, Season 6, or did you guys think it was just bland? I thought it was just okay. It's whatever. So, I'm Dan to Make It Down Son. Please hit that subscribe button if you want some more. Giveaways are on the way. Like the video if you like it, and comment below. I want to hear what you guys have to think and say so I could reply. So, thank you guys. Until next time. Till American Horror Story. There we go. That's better. All right. Bye, guys.